This is a yoga session that will address traumatic psychological myths learned in childhood. There is a Hemisphere Bridge lecture of the same title to accompany this session and thoroughly explains the science involved with the actions of this session. However, the quick explanation is this. This session is designed to uncover emotional wounds that were formed in early childhood, to hold these wounds in a mindful somatic way so that the body feels safe and distant from the powerlessness we experienced as children when these pathways were formed. You do not need to be experienced in yoga for this. I'm not an expert either, but I will guide you through this one step at a time. As a disclaimer, I am not a therapist or physician. If you can afford a physician, if you can afford a therapist, I encourage you to communicate with those professionals about the methods I will be using, for they have a personalized understanding of what might be best for you specifically. If you cannot afford a physician, I encourage you to trust your body in these practices. If something doesn't feel right physically, return to holding yourself in a more comfortable manner. What I offer here is my understanding of what I've learned from the works of Bessel van der Kolk, Fred Luskin, Tara Brach, Gabor Mate, Robert Sapolsky, Alice Miller, Stephen Porges, Peter Levine, Suki Baxter, Nicole LaPera, Johan Hari, Brianna McWilliam, Aaliyah Washington, Benjamin Fry, Rhonda Patrick. I want to stress that you are 100% welcome to be here, whether or not I ever get a dime from you. These sessions will always be free because every person deserves to have access to knowledge and practices that benefit physical and mental health, regardless of economic status. Every person and every body is different. You may adjust these poses to fit your body. As you will see, I hold my wrists above my hands in some poses because the ordinary pose does not feel right to my wrists. It is okay to make such adjustments. Trust your body. This session is best done privately in a safe place, since I will ask questions that may trigger deeply buried sadness. These questions do not need to be answered, they are asked to invoke feelings cemented in childhood. It is when we are experiencing emotions that we can most effectively reprocess them and do so from a more accurate and healthy perspective. Not every question will relate to you, and that's okay. Before we begin, I would like you to take a comfortable seat and check in with the body. Notice the feel of your breath. Can you sense your pulse? Do you feel the air on your skin? On a scale of 1 to 10, how good do you feel right now? Let's begin seated with an erect spine and practice square breaths. This means we will inhale for 4 seconds, hold the breath for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, then hold for 4 seconds before beginning the next cycle. If this is too difficult for you, or if you're pregnant, feel free to use this time to notice your breath and the sensations associated with it. You don't need to change anything. Move to all fours, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, in an alternative tabletop. Why did I need permission to be myself in a place that was supposedly my home? Notice the sensation of your breath. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. From tabletop, twist your right foot out, straighten your left leg, then reach your left hand up and over your head. Why was my authenticity a threat to my lovability? Notice any emotions that arise. Recognize them. Notice the physical sensations associated with them. From tabletop, twist your left foot out, straighten your right leg, then reach your right hand up and over your head. Why was it that I needed to compete for attention? Remember that emotional discomfort exists to guide us toward a place of belonging. It's okay to feel what we call negative emotions. Notice the sensation of gravity, the feeling of weight in this pose. From a wide stance, bend your right knee and straighten your left leg. Point your hips toward the bent knee. You don't have to go as low as I do if it's not comfortable. Why did I have to earn belonging in that home? Why did I have to conform to obedience to be held? Notice any changes in how it feels to be in your body. Remember that you are no longer a dependent child, that you're an adult that does not need the approval of your parents to survive. That was then, this is now. Switch sides. Bend your left knee and straighten your right leg. Point your hips toward the bent knee. Why did I need to silence my voice to be acceptable? Allow yourself to be with the body and any emotions you feel at this moment. Relax into the notion that you are allowed to be you, and you will be fine even when someone else doesn't approve of you. In this pose, do you feel any wiggling, any shaking of the muscles. Be with that. We'll move into Shavasana. Lay on your back, legs straight, arms comfortably down at your side. While laying down, I want you to face the sky, and without moving your head, move your vision to the far side. Then move your vision to the other far side. Continue this for the duration of this pose. Why was I only good enough when I agreed with my parents? Why was my voice only praised when others agreed with me? Why was I otherwise punished for my honesty? Notice your level of relaxation, the feeling of weight in your body. Moving to Sphinx pose, roll onto your stomach, but hold your chest and shoulders up by planting your elbows. Why was speaking my mind a threat to my lovability? Why did I have to abandon my authenticity in order to be acceptable in that home? Notice how colorful your surroundings are right now. When we were prisoners of childhood, we had to believe in authority to evade punishments and abuses. But we are older now, and we know that authority doesn't exist, never has, and that those punishments and abuses had nothing to do with us being bad or wrong or unlovable, but had everything to do with the preferences of the adults who claimed they had authority. And those preferences were to choose threats over having patience for a child. Move to downward dog. Why did I constantly have to prove my worth to earn fleeting affection? Notice the emotions that exist within you right now. Can you be with your breath? Can you feel the sensation of your inhale, your exhale? Enjoy that. Going to pigeon. Place your right knee between your hands. Straighten out your left leg behind you. Sink down. You can stay here or fold over. Why was it that when I asserted boundaries, I risked abandonment? Why did I have to retract my boundaries to be allowed in that home? Anger exists for good reason. It compels us to resist mistreatment, to assert boundaries, to protect loved ones. Thank it for its attempt to help you. What would it feel like in your body to forgive your anger? Switch sides. Place your left heel between your hands. Straighten out your right leg behind you. Sink down. You can stay here or fold over. Why weren't my boundaries respected? Remember that you are no longer a dependent child, that you're an adult who does not need the approval of your parents to survive. That was then, this is now. You have the strength and capability to assert boundaries, and you can remove from your life anyone who does not respect those boundaries. Move back to Shavasana. Can you feel your heartbeat? Why were my only options to shrink my needs or to be treated like a burden? Why was I obligated to be smart or pretty or charming or tough in order to be acceptable? Why wasn't I enough just being me? Notice the feeling of the air on your skin. Are you holding any tension in your jaw? Can you soften any tension that you feel anywhere? Come to a comfortable seat. Is there a scent or aroma in the present moment? Follow along as I massage certain points throughout my face. Apply the amount of pressure that feels best to you. If you can, attempt to sustain a long hum as you exhale with each breath. Notice any difference in how your face feels after this massage. Return to Sphinx pose, onto your stomach, but hold your chest and shoulders up by planting your elbows. Why did an adult who was supposed to be a member of my tribe see my childhood incapability as an opportunity to take advantage of me. Why didn't my parents protect me? Notice the way light interacts with your environment, how the shadows are cast around you. From Sphinx, rise to plank. Bring up your body so that you're only on your elbows and your feet. Try to have a back more flat than mine, but it's okay if you don't. Why was I taught to be ashamed of who I authentically was? Why did I need to contort to the expectations of others in order to be validated? Why did I need to become impressive in order for my caregivers to celebrate me? Sadness exists for healthy reasons. It is an associative emotion that anchors you to a place of introspection. It guides your awareness to essential observations. Thank your sadness for attempting to anchor you in understanding. Return to downward dog. Stand on all fours with your hands and feet out about shoulder width apart, and bend into a triangle such as this. Why was I only celebrated when I was in a good mood? Why was I not allowed to be sad or angry? Why did it become my responsibility to make sure adults in my life were happy? Move to goddess pose. In a wide stance, crouch down to have your knees above your feet and hold there. You don't have to go as low as I am. Adjust to fit your body as needed. Why was my behavior a bargaining chip to receive love? Why wasn't I allowed to be me and still be fully loved? Notice the tension and any wiggles from that pose. Notice the sensations of your thighs as you move to a comfortable seat. Before we conclude, if you feel that you are holding emotions brought up by this session, move your body with them. Whether that means push-ups, crunches, dance, whatever. Just be sure to move your body while you focus on those feelings. Do this until you no longer feel like you're on the brink of emotionally overflowing. Pause this video and take as much time as you need. I want you to know that your wounded inner child within thanks you profoundly for doing this work today. For years, their pain was dismissed and buried under coping mechanisms. They were forced to the shadows and not allowed to be thought about. But today, you invited that child out into the light and let them share their grievances. Your actions expressed an apology to that hurt, uncertain kid. And you showed them the kind of love they've been starving for in this session. They are extremely grateful. Thank you for being with me today. We will conclude this session with attention to the breath. No need to change it, just feel it. Notice the pace and depth of the inhales. Notice the release of the exhales. Do you feel a wave of calm with each exhale? Do you feel that you're present in your body? Does it feel like you're on your own team? Now, I'd like to ask again, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good do you feel? Please comment your numbers from the beginning and the end of the session. Before you move into the rest of your day, I want to be clear that I am glad to offer this freely. I would not be doing this if my model excluded those in poverty from having access to somatic trauma recovery. But if you can afford it, and if you felt this session was helpful, any donation to my LibrePay would be greatly appreciated. It is a key way to support my creation of more sessions. Thank you for being here today.